What's up, TW fans? Jake here, bringing you this week's episode of What's New at Tackle Warehouse. Got a bunch of cool stuff for you today. The first one, we're going to go over a new rod series from Okuma. This is the Okuma XSeries bass rods. These are super cool. When they came in, I was surprised, how light these things are and how great they feel in your hand. So with the blanks, they're using a 46-ton Toray carbon fiber blank. So that's how they're getting that super lightweight rod. Down here on the reel seat, got a nice carbon reel seat, and they did a combo EVA and cork split grip handle. It looks sharp. One of the best looking rods I've seen from Okuma in a long time. On the guides, they're doing a Fuji Concept KW guide system with SIC inserts, so crazy light sensitive, great casting performance. But like I said, this series of rods just feels incredibly light in the hand. Super well balanced, really nice high-end rod from Okuma. Put a nice keeper down there below the reel seat so it's not going to scratch up your blank here up on the top. Really nice series of rods. Make sure you check them out from Okuma. They've got a whole bunch of sizes. 7-foot mediums to flipping sticks, spinning rods, the whole 9 yards. So anything you would need, they got it. Next up, from Teckel, we got the Teckel 10-year anniversary Kicknocker baits. Super stoked to get these in. 10-year anniversary of this bait's been out for a long time. There's been a lot of baits to try to replicate it, but these Teckels, were one of the first, and they simply get bit. Really cool design, 3 hooks on it, razor sharp, great walking, walk the dog style top water. What's different with these 10-year baits, though, they are a limited edition run of colors, so they're only going to be around this one time, so get them while you can. But these are made out of a natural bone plastic, or natural bone ABS plastic, so it just has a different composition than most of the other plastic materials out there, and it delivers a higher pitched noise. So it sounds a little bit different than your standard Kicknocker, and some of the colors are awesome. Make sure you go onto the page and check out all the different colors that we got. And like I said, snag them while you can, because once they're gone, they're going to be gone forever. Next up, from Kicker Fish. This is the new Kicker Fishing Pickle Kick. So Kicker is a saltwater company down in Southern California, and they've been making surface irons and all kinds of cool stuff for a long time. And now they have this soft plastic swim bait, really geared towards the inshore fishing, calicos, spotted bay bass, all that kind of stuff. But this does transition over into regular, bass fishing, striper, all kinds of stuff like that. They've got a bunch of different sizes and a bunch of really cool colors. Most of it's geared towards saltwater, but they've got some cool colors that really transition well over to, freshwater bass fishing. On this bait, it's a nice solid body. It's made out of a denser plastic material, so it's not going to get torn up as easy as some of the other softer freshwater bass soft plastics. These are made to hold up to stuff that's got teeth and aggressive bites. So if you fish somewhere where you have pike and stuff like that, this would be a good bait to have. They're going to be able to hold up to that abuse a little bit better. The tail on here, it's got a really unique shape to it. It produces a really cool swimming action, and it rolls side to side really well. They've made this to match up with the Warbait's neck breaker head, which is, it's a swim bait head, but it's got that free swinging hook design. It's a really cool swim bait head. It matches up perfectly with that. But you can rig it on a jig head if you want. Standard EW, like a screw lock EWG, a bunch of different options, but really cool swim bait, and it's going to hold up really well for you. Bunch of different sizes, bunch of colors. Check them out from Kicker Fishing. From 6 Cents, we got a couple more, jig heads to add to their lineup. So we got the Axle jig head, and we also have it in the Axle underspin head as well. So if you want to add the blade, add a little bit of flash. But this design is super cool. They came out with this design in a swim jig a few years ago, and now they transitioned that over to a standard jig head. So if you didn't want a full body, skirt and have that bigger profile, if you always wanted just a jig head, now they got you covered. So you got that swinging action. So you can rig up your soft plastics and get them on there perfectly straight in line. And you got that lead head up in the front, the screw lock. So you're gonna have a perfectly weedless profile. What I like about this is it's gonna give you just a more natural presentation than like your screw lock EWG hooks with the weight on the bottom. All your lead is going to be up on the head, and then you have all that detailing on the head to add to your soft plastic swim bait. And these things go through cover great. So if you're fishing out on ledges and stuff like that right now, if you're fishing through a lot of grass, this is going to be one to check out. especially if you're getting, you know, a school of fish fired up. If the worst thing you do is get snagged and then get right on top of them to get your bait out, this will help you get through those a little bit more effectively and not disturb the school if you're trying to keep them, you know, keep them settled down or keep them fired up and keep them biting. You don't want to go over there and ruin the whole deal. What's great about these two is there's so many weight options and hook options as well. So a lot of different offerings for different size weights and different size hooks within each weight category. Super awesome jig head from 6 cents. New spinnerbait from Deps. So adding to their Mini Bros lineup. So the Mini Bros Finesse series of spinnerbaits now has a single willow option. I really like this bait. It's going to be great for clear water. Going to be good for those guys up north that are fishing a lot of smallmouth. You know, really small, compact spinnerbait. That wire on there, it's got a lot more power than I thought it would. You know, I thought it was going to be a little bit more wimpy, a little bit more flexible, but it's actually got it's pretty strong wire for how small and compact this bait is. You know, from Deps, everything's just top notch. You know, high quality swivels. The skirts are premium. The paint jobs, there's tons of detailing in there. You know, nice quality hook on there. On the blade itself, it's got that that realism bait fish profile. So it's got that eyeball on there, the gill plates, textured scales. Really cool. This thing's going to be really good if you really want to burn a spinnerbait. The single willow blade is going to have the least amount of resistance for you, so you can really wind this thing super fast. It's going to generate some flash, but it's not going to be as overpowering as a double willow or a Colorado willow, anything like that. You know, I know the guys up north, they really like to burn spinnerbaits right below the surface, and this is going to be one that you can do that with. Really wind this thing fast and get those smallmouth to react to it. Another kind of finesse offering here. So from Dirty Jigs, we got their new compact swim jig. So just a smaller, more compact swim jig, just a smaller profile than some of their larger offerings. I find myself kind of reaching for this size swim jig more often than I do the bigger swim jigs, the big flip and hook in them, just because we fish a lot of pressured fisheries. You always need to generally downsize and finesse it up a little bit. This is a cool swim jig, and they've really designed this for the people that are throwing swim jigs and really putting a lot of action into their swim jig, really popping the rod tip. And what they did with that is instead of having any lead that's down kind of on the shank of the hook here, they went with a wire bait keeper, so they're keeping all that lead up on the head of the bait. And I never thought about this, but when you're twitching that rod tip and you keep all that lead isolated up in the front of the bait, it's going to allow that head to dip more and have more action. So it's going to be going up and down, versus having lead farther down onto the shank, which would make it fall a little bit more horizontally. So if you're fishing shallow water and you really like to twitch your swim jigs, or you're fishing clear water and you need something just more compact, this is going to be the way to go. Premium components, Gamakatsu hook on there. It's a 4/0 hook. It's a 4/0, I believe it's a short shank hook. And then they've also got awesome colors all around, just like all the Dirty Jigs. You know, they come with those really nice powder-coated heads, nice matching skirts that we've all grown to love from Dirty Jigs. Next up, from Drop Zone Lures, we got their new Drop Zone Rattle Jig. So kind of a take on a Chica rig. There's many jig rigs. There's a bunch of different rigs like this out there on the market. So EWG hook with a weight attached to it, but what's cool about this weight, it's got a rattle chamber built in. So it actually makes a lot of noise. There's a lot of weight moving around in there. So just something a little bit different. It's kind of, more like a heavy-duty drop shot. It kind of fishes like a drop shot, but you can fish it with heavier-duty gear. You're not throwing 8-pound on a spinning rod. You can throw this on a bait caster. Throw some bigger baits on there because you have that hook to back it up. Also think this is going to be a really good option for night fishing. So I know there should be a full moon right around the corner. So if you're doing any kind of night fishing, those rattling jigs can really be the difference in helping those fish track down your bait and get more bites at night. So if you're doing some night fishing, might be one you want to think about. Last up, from Denali, we got new bait casting reels from Denali. This is their Novus series, so this is the Novus Elite. This is their highest end reel in the lineup, and I believe this one comes in $249, but they have a couple reels down all the way to $159. So whole series of reels from Denali. Pulling it out of the box and checking it out, this thing feels rock solid and feels a lot nicer than I was expecting. How well built it feels and how solid all the components feel. You can feel that all the tolerances are really tight and it's really well put together. There's not a lot of slop in anything and stuff that kind of wiggles around that shouldn't be. Everything's tight and the way it should be. On this reel itself, on the Elite reel, they have an aluminum frame in the middle and then carbon side plates on the outside, so help reduce some of that weight, but you're going to maintain that rigidity and strength. On the side, they actually have a dual brake system, so they have the adjustable brake system dial on the outside, the magnetic brake, and then on the inside you can open up and get into the spool, and there's a centrifugal brake in there as well. Nice clicker on the drag. There's even a clicker right here on your spool tension knob. Got amazing free spool on it. Nice 95mm handle with these soft rubber knobs on it. They're actually super tacky, really nice to grab onto, and you know you're going to be able to hang on to this thing when it's wet and winch on fish and not have any problems with your hand slipping off the reel or anything like that. Phenomenal series of reel. All right-handers though. Sucks being a lefty guy. You know, there's no options for us, but they got a bunch of different gear ratios. 7 to 1s, 8s to 1s. I believe one of the series has the slower speed for cranking and stuff like that. So if you're interested in some new reels, Denali has stepped into the casting reel category. They came out with some spinning reels last year at ICAST that have done phenomenal, and now they've got a bait casting offering to add to the table as well. So that's going to wrap up today's episode of What's New Tackle Warehouse. For more information or to purchase any of these products seen here today, make sure to click shop or link in the description below. If you enjoyed this week's video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, let us know in the comments which one of these products you're most excited about.